Welcome back to the channel. Today we will travel through the pages of What If Issei Awakened the Boosted Gear Early Part 2. The link to the story will be in the description below. Now let's start. Chapter 5 Introducing Hi to Issei. Welcome to the Grimoires. Huh? You say you don't want to marry me and want to find true love. Don't screw with me. Whether you like it or not, you are the heir to the Grimoire clan, cursed to live by that title. Nobody could ever truly fall in love with you for yourself. You should be honored that you have the honor of being married to the heir of the Phoenix clan. The gold-haired devil said, causing Riaz to wake up instantly. Riaz panted heavily, calming herself down from that awful image that interrupted her sleep. Riaz felt the sweat drop down from her forehead all the way down to her breasts, given the fact the only way she could sleep comfortably is when she is in the nude. Riaz came to her senses and realized that she wasn't in fact in the Phoenix household, but she was definitely not home right now. Riaz placed her hand on the bed she is currently sitting on and then felt something other than the mattress her body was just sleeping on. Riaz let out a sigh of relief once she discovered what she was touching. Riaz looked next to her and stared at the peaceful devil sleeping beside her. That's right, I took Issei home and decided to heal him, so I did skin-to-skin contact with him, and then before I knew it I fell asleep. Riaz said, staring at him. I didn't notice it before, but Kaneko was definitely right with her findings. Issei definitely has an outstanding physique. Riaz said as she traced her finger starting from his well-built chest all the way down to his well-toned abs. Riaz suddenly remembered her nightmare and without thinking, wrapped her arms around Issei, pulling his arm into her boobs to offer herself security that this was reality right now. As soon as Riaz began to embrace Issei, she suddenly felt a huge sensation of warmth and comfort. It's so warm. Oh no, at this rate I may get addicted to this and make you my personal body pillow, Issei. Still, it's surprising, I don't know what these feelings are, but I definitely know I have never felt this way before. I wonder if my big brother knew that you would make me feel this way and that's why he gave you to me. Well, it doesn't matter to me, I'm just glad you're here right now to help me get rid of the nightmare. Riaz said slowly, closing her eyes and embracing him as she fell into a deep sleep. Riaz's sleep wasn't interrupted again that night. She slept peacefully and didn't experience any more discomfort. Slowly rising from her sleep, Riaz stretched her arms up over her head and then looked to her side. Issei was no longer there. Riaz started to panic thinking he left her for good, but her panic subsided when she heard him coming up the stairs. Hey, good morning, President. Did you sleep well? Issei asked, looking directly at Riaz, making her heart beat a little faster. Yeah, I'm sorry for how I'm dressed, I was just. You were healing me whilst I slept, right? But how did you know? Riaz began to speak, but she suddenly stopped when Issei smiled at her. I felt it whilst I slept. I felt your warmth, President Riaz, even though I wasn't conscious I could feel you right beside me. Issei said to the crimson-haired girl, making a blush appear on her face. Anyway, you should get dressed, I've prepared breakfast. Issei said, causing Riaz to nod and begin to dress herself. Hey Issei, could you hook my bra for me? Riaz said in an excuse to make him come close. Sure, I can do that. Issei said, coming closer to her. So it's true what Kaneko told me, you do live alone after all. Riaz said, making Issei surprised. Yeah, it's true. My parents were murdered by the fallen angel Rainer, and ever since, I've lived alone hunting them down until I found her again. Issei said quietly as he helped his master dress. There has been something on my mind since I found out you were my pawn, Issei. How do you know my brother? Riaz questioned, resulting with Issei responding almost instantly. Your brother Lord Surzich saved my life. He revived me as a devil, and then almost right after that, I confronted another fallen angel who tried to kill me again. I was so absorbed by my reality that I didn't feel any damage to my body as he tried to kill me. No, I only felt the sudden urge to kill him, and to do that I needed power, and that's when I unlocked the power of the boosted gear. I was absorbed in rage, but I managed to control the power. I couldn't stop my punches until I somehow vaporized him with my sacred gear. After that I decided that I would get stronger and master my power both as a devil and my sacred gear's power. I contacted your brother and he took me in and trained me for 3 years, along with another teacher he handpicked for me until I was 14. My other teacher taught me how to use my sacred gear and how to harness its full power. So to sum it up, Riaz, your brother saved my life and then gave me to you. I promise to do my best for you, master, and become the strongest pawn. Issei was interrupted by Riaz, who suddenly hugged him. President. You've been through so much, Issei. But don't worry, I will protect you and make sure you no longer suffer with sadness. I promise as your master to make your life full of happiness and new joyful memories. And I promise you, President, that I won't let your dreams stay as dreams. I will fulfill them and make you to achieve true happiness. Now let's go downstairs, breakfast is ready. Issei said, patting her on the head and leaving the room. Riaz felt her head and started blushing again as her chest felt very warm again. After Riaz and Issei finished a well-made breakfast, they decided to make their way to school together and all eyes stared at them as they walked through the school gates. Issei mostly had cursing stares and jealous rage that he was walking to school with the academy's most beautiful student. Whereas Riaz had many girls staring at her admiring her, but some actually felt slightly jealous that she was with Issei. The fact is that most girls liked Issei both for his looks, his manners and his mystery, as he refused to open up or make friends with anyone. Issei, you bastard. How dare you be the one who can walk with Riaz? It's not fair, just die. A male student with glasses said, aiming an apple at him. Issei reacted instantly, placing his hand around Riaz Gremory's waist as he moved her out of the way of the incoming projectile and smashed it with his other hand. President, look out. Riaz blushed, feeling Issei's manly grip placed gently on her hip and also at his, even though it was minuscule heroic act. President, are you hurt? No, I'm okay. Riaz said back, barely feeling very hot on her forehead all of a sudden as she was instantly taken by surprise of his actions. I see, that's great. Issei said, letting go of her now. Hiya. Issei is so manly. One girl said, overcome by Issei's sudden actions. It's no fair, Prince Issei, please protect me as well. That's right, hold me just like you did with big sister Riaz. Riaz suddenly felt annoyed at the girls who tried to swoon her servant, so she took his hand immediately. Let's go, Issei, we'll be late for class. Riaz said, slightly panicking after grabbing his hand suddenly as they rushed into the school building away from all the noise. Once they arrived inside, Riaz let go of Issei's hand and regained her composure. I have to get to class now, but don't worry, I will send someone to come collect you later after school so I can introduce you to everyone else. Riaz said, now back to her composed and calm self. Okay, President, I understand. Then I will be off, President. I look forward to seeing you later. President. Issei suddenly stopped, seeing Riaz's face was blushing again. President, are you okay? Your face is very red. It's nothing. Then I will see you later in the occult research club room. Don't go home. Riaz said, running off in a rush. Whilst Issei wandered into the classroom, Riaz was struggling to calm down her heartbeat after all of the incidents that happened this morning. After a whole day of harassment from the perverted duo, the final school bell sounded. Issei began to gather his belongings when an uproar happened in the classroom. Look who it is, it's third-year student Akeno. Wow, she's so sexy. The first of the perverted duo said, staring at her boobs. Boobs, hooray. The second of the duo said, staring at the beautiful girl with an elegant black long tail. You must be Haidu, Issei. Akeno said, approaching the Sekiryute's desk. Yes, that's me, Issei replied, suddenly feeling a familiar aura. Nice to meet you, I'm Akeno Himejima, the vice president of the Occult Research Club. The president has instructed me to pick you up. Akeno said, setting the class in an uproar again. Damn you, Issei. Issei again, why do all the girls go for him? Another male student said, unable to control their jealousy. Issei followed Akeno out of the classroom and he was reading her aura as they walked along. Akeno felt a sudden chill down her spine as soon as she detected, even though it was slight, a thirst for blood behind her. Just as they reached the grounds of the occult research house, Issei broke the silence, alerting Akeno. Vice President, I know what you really are. Issei said, making Akeno nervous. Vice President, you're really a half-fallen angel, aren't you? Issei said, making Akeno look at him in fear. After a few seconds, Akeno finally spoke up. Yeah, that's right. And Riaz told me all about it. Haidu, you hate fallen angels, don't you? Akeno said, shaking in fear. Yeah, that's right. It was fallen angels that took my parents from me. And they also ended my humanity. Issei said, making Akeno start to cry knowing her identity was discovered and she was going to be hunted again. But, I don't hate you, Miss Akeno, I know all about you, Vice President. You're just like me in a way. Your mother was murdered by rogue fallen angels that were targeting your dad. And it was because of that you refused to use the fallen angel magical power that you have deep inside you. The reason I know about this is because I killed the fallen angels who the assassins had on standby that were planning to ambush you in Barakiel. Issei said, making Akeno silent and giving him her complete attention. It's true that some fallen angels make me very angry and make me want to kill them, but don't worry, I don't hate you, Miss Akeno. I can see just by looking at you and the life you have led that you truly are a good person and someone who I would be happy to work with and lay my life down to protect you as my comrade. Issei said, casting the finishing blow to Akeno. Oh my, if you keep saying stuff like that to me, I don't know what I will do with myself. I can see why Ria so desperately wanted you. Akeno said, wiping away her tears and finally pulling herself together again to represent as Issei's senior classmate. Now let's go, everyone else is waiting. Akeno said, trying to speak over her rapidly beating heart. Issei and Akeno made it inside by opening the double tall wooden doors. Ah, Issei, it looks like you made it. Ria said, sitting at her desk, making her position as king very clear. Yes, sorry for the delay, there were difficulties in my classroom. Issei said, scratching his hair. That's okay, you're here now, so how about you introduce yourself? Ria said to Issei, making him smile. Of course. Nice to meet you everyone, my name is Issei Haidu. I have been honored to be selected as Ria's Grimory's one and only pawn, as all 8 of her evil pieces are inside of me. I hope to get along with all of you. Issei said, bowing after making his introduction. The golden-haired sword wielder was the first to interact with the newbie servant. Nice to meet you, Haidu, I am Ria's Grimory's knight, Yudo Kiba. Yudo said, offering out his hand to shake. Nice to meet you too, Kiba, but please call me Issei. Issei said, accepting Kiba's handshake. I understand, Issei. Not bad, you have a strong grip. I guess I can feel confident whilst having you watch my back. I feel the same way, your sword skills in battle are very reassuring. Issei said, sticking his thumb up and smiling. The next to approach Issei was the small girl who was quietly snacking earlier. I am Kaneko Taoju, Ria's Grimory's rook. Nice to meet you, Mr. Issei, Kaneko muttered. Yes, nice to meet you too, Kaneko. I can feel it just by looking at you, you're really strong. And please, just Issei is fine. Issei replied, a bit embarrassed. Ara, don't forget me. Once again, my name is Akeno Himejima. I am Ria's queen. Please be sure to protect me too, Issei. Akeno said, getting especially close to Issei as she pressed her chest up against his back. Akeno, you're too close. Ria said, unable to hide her obvious jealousy. My apologies, President, I was just being friendly. After all, I am his senior. Akeno said, making Ria slightly irritated, but this only makes Akeno giggle as she enjoys teasing Ria's. And I am the king, please everyone get along with our newest member and continue to help me in my goal. Ria said, resulting with everyone altogether saying. Yes, President. Now that's been taken care of, let's celebrate the Grimory family gaining another servant, Akeno said, bringing out a well-decorated cake. After the party was over, Issei made his way with a smile on his face, whilst Ria's returned home trying to sleep, but to no avail. Just as Issei was on his way home, Issei's enhanced hearing picked up on a distress signal. Issei took off like a bullet, using his senses to track down the disturbance. You shitty nun. I told you. Now that your master has disappeared, you now belong to me. Now I'm going to make you entertain me. The white-haired creep said, tearing at the innocent girl's clothing. Please forgive me, Father Fried, I didn't mean to anger you. The nun said, full-on frightened now as the father withdrew weaponry. Then if you really want me to forgive you, take off your clothes and let me enjoy myself. The man said, rubbing the gun he held against her panties. All the nun could do was cry, cowering in fear as the priest raised his light sword, bringing it down on her. All of a sudden, a huge sound of metal hitting metal resounded in the alleyway. Boy, what do you think you're doing to this woman? Issei said, blocking Fried's sword with his gauntlet. Oh, it's my lucky day. It's a shitty devil. Die. Die. Shitty devil boy. Fried said, firing his pistol. Issei dodged the bullets, grabbing the blonde nun in a princess carry, placing her down on the soft grass to safety. Don't be scared, I will protect you. Issei said, making the girl cry. Wow, you're pretty quick for a shitty devil, but let's see how you deal with my blade. Fried said, trying to slice Issei. Issei dodged easily, evading strike after strike, being able to read the corrupt priest's movements. Is that all you got? Issei said, punching the swordsman full force in the stomach, resulted with the mere human coughing out blood. Haha, this is not good, I will have to gain more power. Bye bye, shitty devil boy. Fried said, vaulting onto the top of the building and escaping into the night. Little did Fried know, Issei could have easily followed the exorcist and finished him off. However, Issei felt there was a much more important matter to settle. Issei walked towards the panicked nun and knelt down in front of her. Are you okay, miss? Can you stand? Issei said, the nun, nodding in response. The girl covered her top half up, her hood falling down to reveal her beautiful golden hair and emerald eyes as she looked at Issei. Issei noticed the girl's embarrassed expression and removed his shirt, draping it over her shoulders. Thank you very much. The nun said, finally building up the courage to speak. You're very welcome. What's your name? My name is Issei Haidu. As Asia. Asia Argento. The nun said, finally being able to speak properly. Asia, right. Well, nice to meet you, Asia. Issei said, smiling towards her. Say, Asia, do you live around here? Issei asked because of her current predicament. No, I don't really have a place to call home other than the church. Asia said, obvious to Issei, looking depressed. Well, I can't leave you like this, I got it. Would you like to come to my house to get out of the cold? I promise that I won't hurt you. Issei said, trying to comfort her. I don't want to cause trouble or be a burden to you, Haidu-san. Asia replied, feeling guilty. Thank you Haidu-san, you seem like a man God sent to help me himself. Oh Lord, thank you for granting me with a hero to break my imprisonment, amen. Asia said, giving Issei a headache. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you were a devil. But even if you are a devil, Haidu-san is a good person. Asia replied with a smile. Please call me Issei, Asia. Now let's go, you don't want to be dressed like that all day. Issei said, offering a piggyback for her because of her traumatic experience she just went through. Okay Issei-san. Asia said, climbing onto his back, closing her eyes as Issei walked towards his home with a distraught nun on his back. Meanwhile, in a house quite a distance away from Issei's home, an agitated princess tossed and turned under the restricting covers until she kicked them off, completely revealing her nude figure. I can't sleep at all. Why is it so different when you're by my side, Issei? Ria said, holding her hand against her aching heart which hungered for his warmth. Chapter 6 Asia Argento. Asia POV. My name is Asia Argento, and I am a holy sister of the church. When I was just a baby, my mother abandoned me, and I was raised by the kind people of the church I was left at. Ever since then, I learned the ways of the church and the teachings of God. One day a wounded puppy walked into the church and was close to death. I prayed day and night for that puppy to be saved by God, and it was then my power of prayer awakened. Seeing it as a blessing from God, I decided to use this gift on anyone I should encounter. However, my days at the church were over after that day. I came across a wounded man who I later found out was a devil. I was banished from the church and labeled as a witch for healing a devil, but to this day, I don't regret what I did, nor do I hate that devil I healed. After I was placed in exile, I was put in the possession of the fallen angels, and my life was governed and monitored by the fallen angel Rainer. She didn't treat me poorly, but one day my life changed. After I completed my morning prayer to God, I was notified by Father Fried that Rainer was killed by a devil and I was to be put in his care. Father Fried didn't seem like a bad person at first as we carried on our regular duty for the Lord. But after the death of Rainer came to his attention, he transformed into a savage beast. We were just on our way back from our latest job and the sun had finally set. When we approached an alleyway, Father Fried changed and started to treat me very roughly, muttering, how ironic it would be for a priest to taint a holy sister. Before I saw it coming, I was pinned to the wall and he started caressing his hands above my body and I felt terrified as he did so. I cried out for help and that's when he showed up. His gentle and caring smile as he said to me these words, "Don't worry, I will protect you." Those words alone possessed the power to set my heart at ease, and I knew from the look on his face, I could rely on him to keep me safe. That man's name is Haidu Issei, who saved me from being defiled and even granted me entrance to his house. That time is now and I am currently in his home taking a shower after he suggested I take one. I know that Issei-san is a good person and I can trust him. I feel relieved that I had a spare outfit in my brown satchel to replace the torn one that Fried ruined, so I did not have to impose on Issei-san by borrowing any of his clothes. I exited the shower feeling clean once again and dried myself off, getting dressed shortly after. I returned to Issei's room smelling a warm fragrance as I stepped inside. Thank you for letting me use your shower, Issei-san. I said, feeling both happy and embarrassed, this being my first time in a boy's room before. Not a problem, Asia, please have a seat. I've prepared some tea. Issei said, offering me a cup. Thank you very much. I said, bowing to him. Sitting down at the other end of the table afterwards. It's delicious. I see, I'm glad you like it. Issei said with that warm smile of his. So Asia, how are you feeling? Issei asked me, obviously concerned about what just happened to me. I'm fine now, all thanks to you. You really are a saint, Haidu Issei. Amen, I am sending a prayer. Ah. What's wrong? Ah. I'm so sorry. I forgot you're a devil, so that must hurt you, right? I said, panicking when I realized I hurt him. It's fine. And what do you mean you forgot I was a devil? Surely that priest said it enough. Issei said, laughing a bit afterwards. Well, the thing is, Issei-san is such a nice person that I couldn't see you as any kind of devil. I said with a slight blush on my cheeks, realizing I said something very embarrassing. I see, thank you Asia, that makes me happy. Issei avoided my embarrassment as he accepted what I just said happily. Anyway Asia, I have something to ask you. Issei said, staring right at me after finishing his tea. Yes, what is it? I said back, feeling nervous. Is it really true that you have no place left to go? Issei said to me, making me surprised, but I answered him. Yes, I was exiled from the church, so I no longer have a home. Ah, but don't worry, I can take shelter in the church. I said, secretly worried about it. No, that's not good enough. I will offer you the spare room in my house. I can't just let a pretty and gentle girl like you stay out on the streets. Please accept my offer. I really want to help you. Issei said, making me cry. I placed my arms around his neck in happiness as I thanked him repeatedly. Thank you so much, Issei-san. I don't care if you are a devil. You truly are a great person and a gift sent to me from God. I promise that I won't be a burden to you. I said, now releasing him and now sitting on my knees. Nice to meet you, my name is Asia Argento. Please take care of me, Issei-san. I said, feeling very emotional to be saved not just once but twice by this boy. Normal perspective. Issei patted the blonde girl on the head and then wiped away her tears. Go get some rest, you must be exhausted. Issei said, settling the girl's mood. Yes, I am, it's been quite a day. Asia said, stretching her arms as she stood up. Tomorrow's a Saturday, so I will introduce you to my master and see if we can help you out, Issei said to the girl as she approached the door. Yes, thank you very much. I am very grateful to Issei-san. Asia said, approaching the room Issei let her use. At night, the holy sister finally managed to get a good night's sleep. Meanwhile, a certain red-haired beauty struggled to get even a wink of sleep. Riaz collapsed onto her bed, having suffered another nightmare of Riser, this time of him killing Issei. What should I do? Riaz said as she began to get upset, knowing full well that she wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. The next day arrived in a flash at the Haidu household as the Red Dragon Emperor began his morning routine. After completing his early workout, Issei began preparations for breakfast. Asia was still asleep, but she was soon woken up by a beautiful aroma that invaded her nostrils, waking her up gently. Asia went down the stairs following the interesting scent leading her towards the living room. Asia's sleepy eyes shot wide open when she saw the feast that was laid out on the table. Ah, good morning, Asia, did you sleep well? Issei said, smiling towards her whilst he took off his apron. Yes, I did, thank you, Asia replied, unable to turn away from the delicious food on the table. Ah, that. I'm sorry, I guess I made a bit too much. My appetite is that of a dragon's after all, so I forget to hold back when preparing somebody else's meals. Issei said, smiling whilst he scratched the back of his head. No. It all looks so delicious and plus I'm very hungry. Thank you for the food. Asia said, showing no hesitation to dig in. This is so good. Issei-san, you're a great chef. Asia said, making Issei smile. Well, you know, when you've lived alone for 6 years, you learn how to do things like this. Issei said, causing Asia to ask. Issei-san, why do you live alone? Asia said, causing Issei to pull a sad expression. Even though it's been asked many times, Issei still feels the pain whenever he remembers their lifeless bodies on the ground. When I was only 11 years old, my parents were murdered by a fallen angel, and then I too was killed. I was revived as a devil and then once again came close to death. But when I wished for power to protect myself and to avenge my parents, it's as if the sacred gear heard me and gave me power. I got my revenge, but I vowed that I would never let anybody else's lives be made miserable by the fallen angels and that I would protect the innocent. Issei said quickly, consuming his drink. Afterward, seeing Asia about to cry, he spoke up. But don't worry, I'm fine. Hurry, eat your breakfast and then take a shower. I have washed and dried some clothes for you, so please go get ready. We have a big day ahead of us. Issei said, quickly disrupting the depressing atmosphere. Yes, I will, Asia said, resuming her delicious meal. After Asia and Issei were ready to go, the two left the Haidu residence and made their way to Kuo Academy. Issei and Asia approached the Orc clubhouse and opened the wide wooden doors, entering into the sitting room. Excuse me, President Riaz. Issei said, making his way to his master's desk after noticing the situation. Riaz Gremory was in fact in the clubhouse, but she wasn't aware of Issei or Asia's presence. Issei smiled and removed his jacket and placed it over his master's shoulders as she slept on her desk. Thanks for the hard work, master. Issei said, placing a note he wrote to her in the jacket pocket. Let's go, Asia, the president is tired, so I will show you around the town. Issei said, ushering her out of the room. Yes, of course, Issei-san. Asia said, following him out of the room. Meanwhile, while Issei and Asia were making their way out of the building, the president was imprisoned in her dreams. Riaz Gremory felt so cold during her sleep as soon as that frightening man appeared again. Ah, look, it's my wife-to-be, Riaz. I hope you know that I plan on having sex with you before we are married. The golden-haired devil said, making Riaz startled and start to retreat back. Just as Riaz stepped back though, a circle of flames surrounded them, trapping her inside. There is nowhere to run, my Riaz, you are mine, and someday I will take you for myself. No, stay back. Shout as loud as you want, Riaz. Nobody is going to save you. Riser said, tearing at Riaz's school shirt, revealing her naked torso. All of a sudden, Riaz suddenly felt a warm sensation not from the fire but inside her chest. As if he were summoned by her cries for help, Riaz was completely silenced when she saw the brown-haired boy with his sacred gear equipped standing right in front of her. Issei? You bastard. I won't let you hurt Riaz anymore. Issei said whilst his sacred gear gem began to shine on cue. Riaz ran towards Issei's back and tried to throw her arms behind him. But before she could do this, he vanished and Riaz had come back to reality. Riaz took a few seconds to register what just happened and this left her both relieved and sad. Relieved that Issei showed up in her dream to protect her. And sad because she didn't even get the chance to embrace Issei in her dreams, let alone in reality. It was then she realized the warm coat which was placed on her back whilst she slept at her desk. Riaz blushed when she recognized the scent as she held it towards her face. "It's Issei's scent," Riaz said, sighing as she hugged it close towards her chest. Revealing the letter that fell out of the pocket. The president opened up the folded paper and read what it said. "President Riaz, yesterday I saved a holy sister from an abusive priest and she now has no place to go home to. I took her in because she's only just arrived in Japan and still has loads to learn, but I mainly feel responsible because I killed Rainer, the fallen angel she was being fed and kept alive by. Need to speak to you about what we should do next as I believe that you are the right person to come to about this. Thanks for the hard work. Hi to Issei." Riaz folded the letter and began doing the task she set out to do when she first came into the clubroom. Elsewhere, Issei and Asia were walking around the town to which Issei was showing her around. Issei decided to take Asia clothes shopping first because of her lack of the essentials, paying for them himself from his savings as a devil he earned whilst he worked as a stray devil for Surzages. After they finished clothes shopping, Issei bought Asia and himself a crepe. "Here you go Asia," Issei said, handing her the delicious pastry. After Asia took a bite from the snack, she began to cry, alerting Issei. "What's wrong Asia, do you not like it?" Issei said, panicking over Asia suddenly crying. "No, it's not that at all. It's just ever since I was little, I have always dreamed about making friends with others. We would go play, read books and pick flowers. And you've treated me so kindly, a complete stranger. I don't know how to thank you," Asia said, unable to contain her happiness. "What are you talking about Asia? I already consider us as friends and friends look out for each other, so you have no need to thank me. I'm just doing what I can to help a friend who is in trouble," Issei said, patting her on the head. Asia couldn't contain herself any longer as she wrapped her arms around him. "Thank you so much Issei-san, I'm so happy that the first person I met yesterday was such a nice and gentle man like you," Asia said, accidentally pushing her crepe into his nose. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Asia said, bowing down to him. Issei burst out laughing as he removed the cream from his nose. "Hey, if you wanted to share your food with me, you should have just said so," Issei said, smiling as he ate the cream that was left on his face. Asia stopped panicking and began to laugh as well. After a long day of visiting the tourist attractions and landmarks, Issei and Asia were beginning to make their way back to the Haidu residence. "Asia, stay behind me," Issei said as a loud sound of flapping wings sounded through the sky. "Who are you and what do you want, fallen angel?" Issei said, getting ready to fight. "I have no business with you devil, now hand over the nun nice and slowly, she belongs to the fallen angels," the male corrupt angel said. "Asia belongs to nobody. And if you want her you'll have to get through me first," Issei said back. "She is a mere human who possesses a sacred gear, it is her destiny to either die or serve us higher beings. Then I will protect her from scum like you. I am the Sekiryuite Haidu Issei," the teen said as he revealed his boosted gear. "No way, the Sekiryuite, the devil that killed Donosik and Rainer." That line made Asia shocked and Issei on high alert. "That's right, I will kill anyone who threatens to hurt those I love. So if you treasure your life, get out of here now," Issei said, making the fallen angel cower backwards and fly away. "Issei-san, is it true that you killed Rainer?" Asia said, very startled. "Yes, it's true, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I just didn't want to frighten you," Issei said, completely surprised by Asia's actions when she grabbed him. "I knew it. I knew that God sent you to help me. I was suffering when I was with the fallen angels, but you set me free Issei-san. I couldn't ask for a better person to call my friend," Asia said, holding him close. "I'm glad that I helped you Asia. I know exactly what it's like to have your life ruined by fallen angels," Issei said as they walked home. Issei and Asia made it back to the Haidu household and they made their way to bed straight after they brushed their teeth. "Good night Issei-san, thank you for these pajamas, they are very comfortable," Asia said, smiling. "That's okay, Asia. If you need anything just ask me, okay?" Issei said as they both went into their rooms. Issei removed his t-shirt and climbed into bed, one thought in his mind as he closed his eyes. "I wonder if Riaz is okay." Later on in the night, a bright crimson light shone from the center of Issei's bedroom. As if she was answering Issei's question, Riaz Gremory stood there in Issei's room and began to remove her clothes. "I'm sorry Issei, please forgive me. But I feel more comfortable sleeping by your side. I can't sleep without you anymore," the Crimson Princess said as she climbed under the covers with Issei resting her naked body on his chest. It's just as I thought, this is where I feel the most comfortable. I just wish I could stay by your side forever, Issei. Ria said as she closed her eyes and stole him for the use of a body pillow. Chapter 7 Riaz is worried. Anger of the Securite. Issei suddenly woke from his sleep when he felt something soft touching his arm. As Issei opened his eyes to investigate, he suddenly became both very embarrassed and shocked when he saw his master laying right next to him stark naked. President Riaz, I'm sorry, I'll move right away. Issei said, panicking as he tried to retreat from the bed. All of a sudden, Issei found himself being pulled back into his bed as if he were captured by a powerful magnet. The brown-haired teen tried to escape again but suddenly stopped when he heard something. No. Please don't leave me, Issei. Ria said as she pulled Issei's head in between her boobs. Issei smiled and relaxed himself, deciding to stroke Ria's hair instead to settle her down. You don't have anything to worry about, Riaz, I would never leave your side. Issei said, looking at his clock, and found himself falling asleep again when he realized it was only 4 a.m. 2 hours later, Riaz opened her eyes, stretching her arms above her head to wake herself up. Riaz looked to her side and was suddenly overcome with joy when she saw Issei was sound asleep right next to her. Feeling lazy because it was a Sunday, Riaz lay back down by his side and stared at her servant whilst he rested. Riaz couldn't help herself as her heart felt like it was trying to escape her chest as she stared at him. The Crimson Princess sat up as soon as she heard a knock on Issei's bedroom door. Yes, come in. Riaz said, trying her best not to wake up Issei. As soon as Riaz invited the guest in, the beautiful golden-haired girl entered the room and looked very nervous. Oh, you must be the nun who Issei saved the other day. Riaz said, remembering Issei's note. Yes, Miss Riaz, my name is Asia and Issei-san really helped me the other day. He is a great person. Asia said back. Of course, that's my cute servant, alright. Well then, Asia, how about I help you say thank you to Issei? Come with me. Riaz said as she climbed out of bed and began getting dressed. Thank Issei-san. Yes, that's right, come on, let's make him some breakfast to make him happy. Riaz said as she led Asia out of the room, leaving Issei to sleep soundly. Asia and Riaz spent their time in the kitchen preparing Issei's breakfast and his morning beverage whilst they spoke to each other. So Asia, do you like living at Issei's house? Riaz said as she poured Issei's tea. Yes. It's very comforting and warm here. Issei-san is a very gentle person and has been a huge help for me. Asia said back happily whilst she prepared his rice. I see, well, Issei is a good person, so please do whatever you can to help him, Asia. The high-class devil said, making Asia reply instantly. Of course. I will do anything I can to help Issei, even if it's just household chores. I don't intend to take advantage of Issei's help. Asia said, making Riaz smile. I'm glad to hear that. Now let's go set the table. I sense he'll be waking up soon. The crimson-haired girl said, placing the cutlery on the table. Issei on schedule awoke from his bed at 6:30, putting on a t-shirt and walked into the dining room to make his morning tea. But to his great surprise, a delicious fragrance originated from the next room. The dragon wielder walked into the room and witnessed the two beauties looking at him with a smile as they stood over the feast on the table. Good morning, Issei-san. Asia said, waving towards the teen. Good morning, Issei, I hope you're hungry because two beautiful girls have made you a feast for you to eat. Riaz said, gesturing towards the fine cuisine decorated on the table. Boy, that smells good, thanks for the meal. Issei said, digging into his breakfast along with Asia and Riaz, who also began to eat. After a lively breakfast, Issei placed the bowls in the sink, getting ready to clean up. No, that's okay, Issei-san. Please allow us to wash the dishes whilst you go take a bath. Asia said, making Issei smile in response. Well then, thank you, I will take two up on your kind offer. Issei said, rubbing both of their heads and journeying upstairs afterwards. The bath, huh? Riaz thought to herself as she snuck away from the kitchen, leaving Asia to wash up. Riaz removed her clothes along with her underwear and entered through the door, grabbing onto Issei's arm before he entered the bath. I got you. Riaz said with a teasing expression. P.R. President Riaz. What are you doing in here? Issei said, panicking as he couldn't help but gaze at her beautiful figure. What? Isn't that obvious? A good master always deepens their bonds with their servants. So I'm going to wash your back for you. Riaz said, trailing her index finger from his abdomen up to his chest. But even so. Issei said. You don't want me to wash your back? Riaz said with a slight pout, making Issei melt inside. Damn, she's just too cute. Issei thought to himself as he answered her question. I didn't say that, master. Issei said, trying his best to look away. Then let's get inside. Riaz said with a happy expression, not noticing the sudden guest. Lady Riaz, this isn't appropriate behavior for the heir to the Gremory name. Honestly, frolicking in the nude with just a low-class devil, please get dressed and follow me to the school. A silver-haired woman said as she dressed in a maid outfit. Don't call my servants low-class big sister Graphia. It matters not what I call them. Please just exercise caution when you leave yourself vulnerable to a man. Graphia said, making Issei turn around and speaking to her. Low-class devil. How mean Graphia. Have you forgotten who I am already? Issei said, grinning at her when he saw her reaction. Isekai haidu Issei. I do apologize for my rude manner of speaking. It has been quite a while since you left the Gremory Castle. Graphia said, bowing to him. That's okay. By the way, is Lord Surzich as well? Issei said, acting very formal with her. Yes, he is missing you greatly though, Issei. I see, no wonder that guy never changes. Issei said with a smile. Graphia returned her sight to Ria's. Please get dressed and travel with me to the clubhouse. Gather all of your servants, it's time. Graphia said, making Ria sad all of a sudden. I see. Then I will get ready. Ria said, using magic to dress herself in her Kuo Academy outfit. Right. President Ria's, is something wrong? Issei said, sensing Ria's change in her mood. Yes. Forgive me, Issei, I will be heading off first. Please come to the clubroom with Asia once you have finished your preparations. Ria said, putting on her shoes and heading towards the entrance. Yes, President, I will be there shortly. Issei said with a smile, but Ria's merely responded with a weak smile back. Issei knew something was wrong but brushed it off, remembering he would have another chance to talk to her about it. After Issei and Asia finished their morning duties, they rushed towards Kuo Academy's clubroom. Issei realized that he and Asia were the last to arrive as he felt his other devil comrades were already present in the room. However, something didn't feel right with Issei as he approached the room. Nevertheless, Issei brushed it off once again and opened the doors greeting everyone. Morning everyone, what's the big emergink? Issei said, cutting himself short when he immediately noticed the discomfort on his master's face as she sat next to another on the sofa. Ah, Issei, good for you to make it. Graphia said, acknowledging that all were present now. Issei wasn't listening to Graphia at this point as his focus was wandering elsewhere as he watched his master carefully. This is Ria's Gremory's fiancé, Riser Phoenix. Graphia said, but Issei still focused his attention on her. His anger boiling inside as he saw Ria's looking uncomfortable. The golden-haired devil was running his hands all over Ria's as he touched every part of her. Ria's remained silent as the perverted devil grabbed her boob and rubbed against her thigh with his other hand. Issei had enough and finally spoke up. Excuse me, could you stop doing that to the president? She doesn't look too comfortable there. Issei said, suppressing his anger. Learn your place, low-class devil. I will do what I please. The pervert replied in an arrogant tone towards Issei. Ria's decided she had enough and slapped away his hands as she stood up. That's enough. Riser, I told you before, I will not marry you. And I told you, Ria's, that this marriage is necessary for the future of the devil's survival. And you will let me do as I please to preserve the lives of your weak servants. Riser said back, making Kiba materialize, a sword being quickly stopped by Kaneko. My family is being too rash with this. Rest assured, I intend to marry, but only with a man I choose myself that I truly love and who truly loves me, for not just being the heir to the Gremory family. But just as Ria's. Ria's replied, feeling shocked when Riser suddenly grabbed her by the chin to face him. Stop behaving like a brat and think of our race, Ria's. And accept my generosity to merge with the Phoenix household. Riser said, leaning in to kiss her. Ria starts to whimper and leak a tear as she clearly showed she did not want this to be her first kiss. Suddenly, Ria feels a great force pulling her away from the Phoenix member, followed by a gentle arm wrapping round her waist. I told you to stop upsetting my master. Issei said, now equipping his boosted gear. Boy, you don't know who you are messing with. Riser said, clicking his fingers and as a result, summoning his peerage. I won't let you harm my president anymore, Riser. Issei said back, making Riser angry. Who do you think you are? You're just air, Riser said, being silenced by Issei, who threw a powerful punch, halting it as it neared his nose. The strength of Issei's punch created a huge gaping hole in the wall behind Riser, showing the full velocity and dynamic force of Issei's power. I won't tell you again, take one more step towards Ria's and I won't hold back. Issei said, his boosted gear shining as it boosted several times in a row. How dare you attack my king? A purple-haired lady said, unleashing her explosive power. Issei didn't budge from his spot, he stood as he embraced, gently placing his palm out in front of them and grasped hold of the explosion. Serves you right for attacking Lord Riser. The purple-haired devil said, her look of satisfaction quickly fading as the smoke faded away. Is that all? Issei replied, looking at the puzzled queen. How dare you? Let's go, Carmine. Riser knights jumped into action, both taking offensive fighting stances on either side of Issei. If you choose to point your weapons at me. Issei said, being cut off by the first knight who aimed a sword slash towards him. Issei grabbed the blade of her sword, crushing it effortlessly with his gauntlet. Then you too will be my enemy. Issei said, discarding the crushed shards of the sword with a scary expression. Riser Phoenix. Let's settle this like men. I challenge you to a battle one-on-one at your engagement party. And if I win, you let Riaz go. I know my president. Riaz Gremory is a strong and powerful devil, but deep down behind all that strength she displays, she's just like any other girl who is entitled to choose the one she wants to be with. And I can see by the look of disgust on her face that you couldn't possibly bring her that. And as a servant of Riaz Gremory and her trusted pawn, I will fight for her dream and protect her. Riaz begins to blush at Issei's manly behavior and listens to the conversation. Very well, it will make for some great entertainment at the party and will mark as my final flame before I settle down. But that being said, Riser and his peerage were engulfed in flames and vanished from the club room. Issei releases Riaz and then goes down to one knee. Master Riaz Gremory, I request a leave of absence from my usual duties to allow me time to train, Issei said, looking her right in the eyes. Issei, you don't have to do this doesn't concern you. Riaz said in a harsh tone because she was really worried about him. My duty as your servant is to help you achieve your dreams, President. And I can tell that you're not happy with this marriage that has been arranged for you. So I will do everything in my power to protect your happiness. Issei making her blush and only able to say one thing in response. Okay Issei, I will permit this absence. Riaz said, unable to say anything else. Thank you Riaz Gremory, please stay at my house until I return. I promise I will return to bring you back here. Issei said as he created a magic circle. I understand. Riaz said as he began to vanish. Thank you master, I'm off to the underworld now so please take care of Asia. Issei said vanishing in the blink of an eye. President Riaz. What is it Asia? Riaz said back in a friendly tone. Please make me your servant as well. I want to stay by Issei-sen's side forever and help all of you with my sacred gear to heal you when you get hurt. Asia said bowing down in respect. I understand. I will make you the Gremory household second bishop. Are you sure you're prepared to do this? Riaz said getting Asia's confirmation. Yes. My resolve is clear and I want to do this. I want to get to know you all and become great friends with you. I want to be able to help Issei so please make me your servant President. Asia said, bowing down her head again. Riaz smiled and then said. Welcome to the Gremory household Asia Argento. Meanwhile at the Gremory castle. Two devils faced each other in the throne room. Please Lord Surziches, allow me to train under you and Azazel again. I am ready to release the full potential of my sacred gear. Issei said, bowing his head down to the Demon King. Why do you feel you need to do this? Surziches said to the Red Dragon Emperor. Because I want to be able to gain enough power to protect Riaz and the rest of the Gremory household from any other threat besides Riser who may surface. Lord Surziches smiled, feeling Issei's strong resolve. Very well, I will allow you to train with me and Azazel again. Be prepared. Thank you very much Lord Surziches. I promise that I will not let Riaz shed any more tears doing something she does not want to do. Issei said bowing and then leaving the room. President Riaz, I swear I will protect your smile. And help all of your dreams become a reality. Issei said as he began his basic training. Chapter 8 Training Time. Issei and the demon Lord Surziches traveled the corridors of the Gremory castle, making their way to the training hall. Honestly Issei, you're so mean. You spent so long away from the castle and I didn't even receive a single postcard or call from you. Surziches said, making Issei grin. Forgive me Surziches, I had something to take care of first. Issei said, referring to his fallen angel missions. Yes I know Issei, or should I call you by your other name in the demon world? The corrupt fallen angel exterminator Nightwing. Surziches said, making Issei blush a bit. Lord Surziches, please don't come up with strange nicknames. Issei replied, referring to what Surziches just said. But it sounds cool doesn't it? And there you go calling me Surziches again. I told you to call me Big Brother, remember Surziches said, pulling a sad face. You're the demon lord. There is no way I could address you like that. Issei said, remembering this is what Surziches the man who saved him was like. Why not? After all, when you marry Riaz I'll be your brother-in-law. Surziches said, making Issei blush again. What are you babbling about now, Riaz is already taken. Issei said following a smile on Surziches' face. But you're going to win her freedom aren't you? Well yeah but. You've already said you'll save her from that man. Of course but even so. So I hope you're prepared to take responsibility and take care of Riaz for me. Surziches said, smiling towards the young devil. Originally I was just fulfilling a promise I made to you, the man I owe my life to. I promised you I would find my master and protect your little sister. But when I finally met her, I was blown away. I admire her charisma and her love for her servants, but the truth is when I see her cry or when she is unhappy, I want to do whatever I can to make her smile again. Issei said without even thinking and made a certain high-class devil grin. Very good Issei, you have passed the test. Test what T? Issei said, being interrupted by Surziches, who said something outrageous again. So you need to train in order to sweep her off her feet and make her yours. Surziches said his older brother loves Ria's switch being turned on. Will you cut it out? Geez Surziches, it's so amazing that you're still keeping hell together. Now don't say that Issei, we're here. Surziches said, standing outside a door with a gold plate across the top. I'll allow Azazel to start you off. After your session, come find me and I will do our usual training routine. I understand, please teach me Lord Surziches. Issei said, now knocking on the door and walking inside. Good afternoon Azazel. Issei said so formally to the high-tier fallen angel. Ah, now this brings back memories. What do you want with me, the Red Dragon Emperor Haidu Issei? Azazel replied, spinning around to see the devil as he took a sip from his goblet. I want you to help me unlock the full extent of my balance breaker power. At the moment I have only been able to summon the form when I am taken over by a furious rage or when I am face to face with a fallen angel. But it's not convenient for me anymore. I have found a master and made friends with my fellow servants and I want to gain the power to protect them all. Issei said, sitting down and seize a position whilst he spoke to Azazel now. I see, so you have finally found a goal that doesn't center on hatred or revenge. Azazel said, looking on proudly at his young pupil. Yes, but I can't afford to rely on my balance breaker form as it is now. I can't risk the power overtaking me and making me lose all my reason. I can't risk hurting anyone. So please help me achieve balance breaker completely, this incomplete state is too unstable and I could risk going into Juggernaut overdrive mode. Issei said, fully aware of this form prior to Drake's warning. I see, sure thing, I will help you unlock the full extent of your power. But be prepared, this training may affect you both mentally and physically. But are you still prepared? Azazel said. If it's to help me protect my new life and my master, I will endure any pain or torture I have to face. Ever since I became a devil I never felt I had any reason left to live. Now my parents are gone. The only thing that kept me alive was my desire for revenge. But now I want to protect everyone in the Gremory household. Well, I guess you could say I want to protect my master. Issei said, showing his resolve. Very good, I like the look in your eyes. Right, we will get started immediately. First things first, activate your sacred gear. Azazel said, standing from his seat. I understand. Boosted gear. Issei replied, bringing out his gauntlet. The purpose of this training is to unlock your balance breaker. To do that, you are going to have to travel inside your sacred gear itself and face the power you fear so much head on. Partner, be careful. Greg. When your spirit goes inside the gauntlet, I won't be able to reach you. So make sure you don't lose to the destruction that lies inside. I won't accept it if you let those weaklings who can't hold a candle to the current Securute. Don't worry about that, Drag, I have no intention of losing to this power. After all, I made a promise to Riaz. I will free her from that bastard and become strong enough to protect my new friends. Issei said as he closed his eyes and prepared himself. As soon as Issei opened his eyes again, he found himself in a white void. So this is inside my sacred gear? I best stay on my guard. Anything can happen if I let it down here. All of a sudden, Issei felt like he was dreaming as the beautiful and elegant master of his stood right there in front of him. Riaz? What are you doing here? Issei said with a smile as he ran towards her. Issei found himself striking an invisible barrier propelling him backwards from his master. It was what happened next that began to strike pain inside him. You really think you can save her? Issei turned around slowly, a look of despair on his face recognizing the voice. How can you expect to save her when you couldn't even protect your parents? Raynor said, making Issei lose his mental strength. Issei screamed when he saw the two dead bodies at his feet again. You're nothing but a little boy crying for his mother. You can't protect anyone. Raynor said, stabbing him in the shoulder whilst he knelt down staring at his parents' dead bodies. No, you're wrong, I plan to use this power to protect those I care about. Protect them? I think you're mistaken. All you know how to do is destroy and kill. You'll be more fitting known as the Crimson Dragon of Destruction. Your parents are dead because of me, a monster. But if you continue to pursue your false sense of justice, you will continue to be consumed by that overwhelming power and kill all of them. Everyone you cared for will be annihilated by the dragon that you will become. Raynor said, stabbing him with another light spear pinning him to the ground. She's right, no matter how many times this sacred gear is passed on, all of the possessors let out the monster within to cause chaos and destruction with the flames of purgatory. One of the green orbs of light said, making Issei lose further in mental power. It's always been because of power. It's always been for love. No matter how many times it happens, they all chose the path of ruin, all green light said, making Issei scream further in despair. No. I won't let that happen. Issei shouted, feeling the words pierce him deep. It's true, I'm afraid of my power. I'm afraid that it will destroy everything. Issei said with a blank expression now. That's right, accept reality and watch as your beloved master suffers because you cannot protect her. Rainer said, pointing towards Riaz who was now being approached by the golden-haired pervert. No, stay back. Issei will come. He will come save me. Riaz said in tears as her uniform was turned to ash and she tried to retreat in just her underwear. You bastard. Stay away from my master. Issei said trying to stand but the pain was too unbearable. Razor destroyed the demon lord's little sister's bra, next releasing Ria's boobs and making her hide them in embarrassment. No, stay away from me. I will make you obedient towards your husband. Razor said, pushing her down to the floor. I said stay away from her. It's useless, if you persist this path, you will be swallowed by the power and you will kill her yourself. No, Issei, help me. Issei gritted his teeth and began to pick himself up. You will fall helpless to the power. No one can escape the power of the Red Dragon Emperor. Get away from her, Issei said quietly, trying to stand up. Haha. That's right, squirm like your parents did, you pathetic boy. Rainer said as Issei screamed, trying to force his body through the light spears. You will submit to the Juggernaut overdrive. There is no escape. Issei. Ria screamed, being fondled by the Phoenix member. Don't fuck with me. Issei shouted, being surrounded by towering flames burning the screaming Rainer to ashes. A row of fallen angels that Issei defeated stood in his way now. Get out of my way. Issei shouted, dashing right through them. That's right, scream his name whilst I make you mine. Riser said, making Riaz scream louder. Riaz. Issei shouted, his whole body being surrounded in a tower of fire. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Drake shouted, Issei's sacred gear becoming visible again. Issei emerged from the flames and was now wearing his highly durable dragon armor. I said get out of my way. Issei dashed forward with his dragon wings flapping and his emerald boosters on his back blasting. Issei advanced immediately, reducing each and every one of his previous assassinations to smoke as he approached the invisible wall. Issei swung his fist at the barrier, determined to break through at full speed. Get away from Riaz. Issei said, increasing his power as he tried to punch through. Boost. 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 Issei's sacred gear shone brighter than he has ever experienced before as cracks now formed on the invisible wall. Break through. Boost. 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 The wall that denied Issei's access very adamantly earlier crumbled to pieces in an instant, the shards of the barrier falling to the ground. Issei charged straight ahead, showing no fear towards the devil who tried to take advantage of his precious master and collided with him head-on. Issei crashed his fist into the arrogant devil, resulting with Riser attacking him back with his flames. Issei and Riser locked horns fiercely, the power struggle between them continuing. You're just a low-class devil. How dare you interfere? I don't give a crap about ranks. I will not let you have Riaz. Issei shouted, using his dragon shot to extinguish the so-called immortal flame. Issei knelt down to the distressed girl and began to speak to her. Whether this is an illusion or reality, I promise you I will not fail you. I will rescue your Riaz. Issei said as the red-haired girl was consumed in a blinding light, making her disappear. It was only after his master left the void that Issei realized his transformation. He did it. He finally achieved Balance Breaker through a method of reasoning other than revenge or hatred. He succeeded with the goal of protecting his master and King Ria's Gremory. Issei shielded his eyes from a blinding light, feeling himself being pulled upwards as if he were leaving the atmosphere itself. Boisekuyuite. Issei. Issei opened his eyes, locating the source of the voice calling out to him. Azazel. What happened? Issei asked, Drake being the one to answer instead. Partner, congratulations. You did it. You achieved a balance breaker. Drake answered, leaving Issei flabbergasted. I did. That wasn't just an illusion. Sacred gears respond to the will of their user. Your desire to overcome the corruption and save Riaz allowed you to unlock and break the seal. Drake said to Issei's great delight. Yes. Now I can move on to the second stage of my training. Issei said, feeling the increased power running through his veins. According to my analysis, partner, with this seal being broken, you now have the ability to stay in balance breaker form for at least 30 minutes. Drake said, feeling Issei's innate power. Impressive, looks like you'll be ready for Surzich's training now. I hear he has something special planned for you. It seems you passed the exam, Issei. Now go and get some rest. You'll need it for what comes next. Azazel said, dismissing Issei from his room. Issei went to the guest room at once, summoning his gauntlet as soon as he went inside. Drake, I need to talk to you. What's the matter, partner? Drake replied, unable to predict Issei's motive. As it stands, I may be in danger when controlling the balance breaker of the boosted gear. At the moment my balance breaker is still in an incomplete state, which could easily switch to Juggernaut overdrive if I should let my guard down. So Drake, I have a favor to ask of you. What can I do for you, Issei? I want you to take possession of my arm and turn part of my body into a dragon. I feel if you help me, I can control this power and achieve complete control of the Longinus and your hidden power. So please Drake. Issei said, bowing to his sacred gear. I got it, partner. I can see you're thinking wisely by allowing me to help you control the power. You're not alone here. Drake said in a cheerful manner, realizing that Issei was thinking logically. I'm ready when you are, Drake. Issei said as a bright light shot through the windows in the Gremory castle. Meanwhile in the human realm, Riaz and the rest of her peerage were en route to a selected mountain terrain. Flashback. After Asia was brought back as a devil, Riaz gathered everyone in the club room, for she had an announcement to make. Everyone gather your belongings and prepare to leave by evening. Riaz ordered, determination burning through her eyes. What is the reason for this sudden trip, Riaz? Akeno said, confused of the idea of a sudden journey. Asia, our newest member, requested that I help her understand the power of her sacred gear, and she also wants to get to know the rest of her kind. Also, I thought this would be a great opportunity to hone and increase the skill level of the Gremory household. Riaz said as, but really the reason was she couldn't afford to not be proactive with so much on her, she needed something to distract her. But Issei gone, her worries only grew further, feeling like she saw a premonition as she was haunted night after night by the same dream. The dream was always the same. Issei covered in blood and then being burned to a crisp by Razor. Riaz was desperate and was prepared to marry Razor in order to prevent this tragedy from happening. End of flashback. Hiba, Kaneko, Asia, Akeno and Riaz finally made it to the bootcamp Riaz had organized with motivation running on overdrive as they traveled through the gateway. Riaz had already planned out each of her servants' training schedules, which were all organized into pairs. It was decided that this would be the matchups. Kaneko and Kiba. Asia and Akeno. Kaneko was instructed to improve her speed and endurance, making Kiba an excellent partner for this task. Kiba's instructions were more straightforward. Achieve balance breaker. Asia was to be taught all about her sacred gear by the president herself, including the basics about life as a devil. Followed by magic reinforcement training with Akeno. Riaz decided to train alone given her own personal goal to defeat the storm that plagued her mind. Riaz was aiming to strengthen her strategic mind and her own power if the worst case should happen, and she was forced to resort to a raiding game for the engagement party's entertainment. Riaz couldn't help but wonder about Issei when the sun finally set. Riaz was suddenly alerted when she received an incoming call. Hello? Riaz, it's been a while since we spoke. Big brother? Yes, have you been well? Yes, big brother, I'm just training my peerage at the Gremory boot camp. Very good, as expected of my little sister. The silence is drawn out for 1 minute until Surziches begin to speak again. Riaz, worry not, Issei is safe and sound. He is training in the underworld with me. Big brother, please stop him. He doesn't need to do this. Sorry, I can't do that, Riaz. I have my own personal interest in the boy I resurrected and I am going to test him personally. Surziches said, sending a chill down Riaz's spine. Big brother, you don't mean. It appears my guest has arrived. Well then, Riaz, goodbye. Surziches said, ending the transmission. Big brother, Riaz shouted, worried now more than ever. Riaz tried to contact her brother, but the connection did not go through, leading to the conclusion that Surziches had activated a jammer to prevent outside intrusion. Riaz panicked now as Issei was going to be tested by the demon lord himself. Issei, Riaz said as she held her hand towards her heart, now worried more than ever. So you've finally arrived. Hi, do Issei. Are you ready to fight me now? Yes, I am. Issei said. Interesting, I like the look in your eyes. But don't you dare hold back. Because if you hold back against me, you will die, that is guaranteed. Surziches said, pointing towards the Red Dragon Emperor. Don't worry, Lord Surziches, I'm coming at you with everything I have. Issei said, materializing his dragon armor. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Hum at me, Issei. Surziches said, getting ready to face the Sekiryuite. To be continued. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed the story, then hit the like button and comment your favorite part, but for now, see you all in the next video.